also promoting lifelong learning by helping you learn a new skill and receiving students from other schools here in Saint-Lambert to learn as well. And I'm here today to teach you about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so I'm also fulfilling this very goal just by standing here today. The next goal is gender equality. To achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Part of this goal covers girls' and women's access to education. There are 34 million female adolescent girls who don't have access to education the way we do here, and missing out on a chance to learn vital skills that will help them to have fulfilling lives and find work and provide for their families. This goal also covers the reduction in child marriages and violence against women, as well as equal pay for equal work. Goal number 6 is clean water and sanitation. To ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Without water, there is no life. Some travel on foot for several kilometers a day just to fetch a little pail or a jug of water that is often contaminated. And when this water is ingested, it can cause illnesses or even death in some cases. We, on the other hand, flush our toilets with perfectly clean drinking water. So the UN is really trying to establish an equality when it comes to access to water. And they just launched recently their Water Action Decade to help people who do not have access to water receive water, and to raise awareness with people like us who have an overabundance of water to be a little more careful with this precious resource. The next goal is affordable and clean energy. To ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Human-caused greenhouse gas emissions have accelerated climate change over the past few decades. These are caused by industries that burn coal or oil, deforestation, and industrial farming practices, as well as the transportation industry. By switching to renewable energy, and reducing or eliminating greenhouse gases that are responsible for climate change, we can create real positive change and fight the effects of climate change. Decent work and economic growth is to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. We need to create jobs and economic growth through innovation and regeneration, not by taking more resources than we're able to replenish. So we have to create jobs without further environmental destruction. And this is very, very important for your future. The next goal is industry, innovation, and infrastructure, which ties into goal number 8, and that's to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Industrialization is a driver of development. It increases productivity and job creation, but it needs to be done in a sustainable way. One industry that's making a change is the transportation industry. Here in Quebec alone, our province has invested very, very heavily in electric transit or electric transportation. And in order to reduce emissions that cause greenhouse gases, we really have to look at ways that we can reduce emissions altogether. So there's a photo up there of our car. That isn't our car, but it is our car. We drive an electric Soul EV, and it is zero emissions, and we really, really feel proud and happy that there's nothing coming out of the car that pollutes the air and that contributes to climate change. And more, the government will be offering incentives to people to drive down the cost of owning or leasing an electric vehicle. And then that way we can move away from fossil fuels, which obviously is a resource that has caused climate change. The next goal is reduced inequalities. So to reduce inequality within and among countries. By 2030, the UN's target with this goal is to empower and promote the social, economic, political inclusion of all humans, irrespective of age, sex, disability, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, or economic or other status. We are really all born equal. The next goal is the sustainable cities and communities. Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. As the world population is growing, we need to create sustainable living environments for everyone. As space is limited on this planet, we also need to think in terms of building green buildings. And as mentioned earlier, greening our transportation and greening the way we grow our food in order to replenish what we take. The next goal, number 12, is responsible consumption and production. Ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. This goal touches some of the most severe human and environmental degradation, from the exploitation of people through slave and child labor, which still very much exists today, to natural resources used, to pollutants being dumped, to excess garbage being created. You can vote with your dollars with every purchase that you make. By supporting companies that do not support these practices. Products that are fair trade certified, for example, ensure that people are paid a fair wage for the work that they do and that no slave labor has been utilized in the production of their products. This t-shirt, for instance, is made by an organization that I've been supporting for many years now, called Me to We. I don't know if you're all aware of the We movement, or I think they have We Day presentations. And this t-shirt was made out of organic cotton, so no pesticides were utilized in the production of the cotton fields. And the dyes are natural, and it says, "We have the power to change the world." So it's a very inspiring t-shirt for me. But we do have the power to change the world with the choices that we choose to make every single day. Next is number 13, which is climate action. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Much stronger efforts are needed to build resilience and limit climate-related hazards and natural disasters that have been increasing every single year as the global temperature rises. By implementing goals number 7, number 9, number 12, and number 15, which we'll be looking at in a few minutes, it will help combat climate change in a serious way. Next is life below water. Conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. I don't know if you're aware of this crisis. It's called the plastic crisis. But there are 8 million tons of plastic in the ocean that gets dumped every single year. Bottles, bags, straws, packaging, and other waste that enter the ocean is something that we seriously need to look at, because it's killing marine life and it's entering the human food chain, and the ocean is basically choking on plastic. So I'm very proud of the initiative that your school has taken here to eliminate single-use water bottles from the vending machines. This is going to make a big, big difference. Goal number 15 is life on land. To protect, restore, promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. This is a big goal that encompasses many things that we are currently seeing on our planet. So garbage landfills is just one example. They're filling up at such a rapid rate that we can't contain all this garbage. So we have to start creating less of it.